Hi guys. Today I will be presenting on Pinterest and how it fits into our social media marketing class. So what is Pinterest? These are some things that we're going to go over. Why users love it, why we as marketers should also love it, and then we're going to see Pinterest in action, the marketing significance, campaign examples, and how do these people get paid, the monetization involved. So let's look. So personally, Pinterest has been around for a while, and for me, my board that I have was started in 2011, quite a long time ago, and I still use it today. So let's talk about the actual official development, which began in 2009 by Ben Silberman, Evan Sharp, and Paul Sciarra. The platform officially launched in 2010 as an invitation-only website, but it quickly grew in popularity after the phone app was released in 2011. So by the end of 2011, Pinterest had become one of the largest social platforms in the United States. Its rapid growth showed that there was a strong demand for visual discovery and inspiration. So what exactly is it? Pinterest. It basically is a visual curation network. This is where people visually discover things on the platform that they can collect and organize. Instead of sharing personal updates like Facebook, users save images and videos called pins. Sometimes people will comment on posts, and there might be conversations back and forth with individuals that are relative to that pin and attached to it. Those pins are organized into boards based on interests like recipes, travel, fashion, home decor. I realize that these may be geared more towards homemakers, but I assure you that there's also blue-collar workers and other types of professions that use Pinterest, and people that are interested in it, because everything is on there. Pinterest also functions as a visual search engine because users search for ideas instead of simply scrolling through posts. And this combination of search and inspiration makes Pinterest unique. So let's look at why it's so popular for users as well as marketers. So why do the users love it? Well, people like planning projects, and before they take action, they may gather information for those projects. And they may also be more visual learners and value the organization and saving of ideas that the platform offers. And there are those typical users who find examples of latest home decor, fashion, food, travel, etc. Literally any interest in absolutely anything, like I said before, can be found there. We all know someone, or even ourselves, that has planned an entire wedding or on a personal Pinterest board. It's almost becoming the main hub for all things wedding in the very beginning stages. Most users come to Pinterest looking for inspiration rather than entertainment. They can save ideas to boards and organize future projects, helps people compare products before making decisions. And in addition to weddings, lots of people will plan vacations and save recipes, research home renovations, and even gather holiday shopping list ideas months in advance. So unlike other social media, people visit Pinterest with a purpose, although it's not unheard of for some to just browse content in their free time. These are the behaviors that marketers are concerned with. So this is also why they love it. In my own personal use of Pinterest, and becoming a marketing major, it's easy for me to identify the two large reasons why marketers love it. The end user will often discover needs that they didn't even know they had. That's where the aimless browsing comes in, and there's always something new in fashion, home decor, or new hobby to take up. Basically, it creates demand instead of simply responding to it, which is a pretty powerful component in the world of online commerce. Someone might search for decorating ideas without planning to buy anything, but then saves info for later. After seeing inspiring pins, someone may suddenly want new furniture or home decor. This is called need recognition, realizing there is something you need or want that you don't actually currently have. And these are the first steps in the consumer decision process. And like we said, Pinterest helps businesses influence consumers even before they realize what they want. So once they recognize a new or established need, Pinterest continues influencing them throughout the buying journey. So again, here's some more points on why we as marketers should love it. Typical visitors come with a very high purchase intent. They're planning future purchases. And one thing that is unique about Pinterest is that pins have a very long lifespan, longevity in a cloud space that can be accessible for years. That also means that a pin can continue generating traffic for months or even years after it's posted. This gives businesses much longer value than many other social media posts. So this connects directly to the consumer decision process we mentioned earlier that is discussed in Chapter 9 of our textbook. These are the stages for the social commerce tools of purchase decisions. These are the 4 stages of the process which relate directly to Pinterest. And the strongest is the first stage in the cycle that Pinterest is good at, the need or recognition problem. Then on to the information search and evaluation for alternatives. By saving those pins of products being considered, it's easy to go back and compare ideas, products, and solutions before making a purchase. And in many cases, Pinterest plants the seed for a future purchase long before someone is even ready to buy it. So several important marketing concepts come along with this that make it so successful. The concepts here that Pinterest is especially good at optimizing: discovery and consideration. As we already stated, Pinterest reaches consumers early in the buying journey before they make purchasing decisions. Content marketing. Businesses attract customers by creating helpful, inspiring content instead of relying on only advertisements. Content worthy of collecting and reviewing later. Search engine optimization, or SEO. It's a huge visual search engine, so businesses will use keywords, titles, and descriptions to improve discoverability in search requests. The platform basically combines social media with online shopping, helping users discover product and connect directly to those retailer sites. So together, all these concepts explain why Pinterest is such an effective marketing tool. But how does it compare with other social media platforms? What makes it different? It's often grouped with other social media powerhouses, but it has a very different purpose. Platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they focus on connecting people and communities. And then we have TikTok and YouTube, which both focus on video entertainment of some kind. Instead of asking what's happening today, Pinterest will ask, what are you planning next? It focuses on discovering ideas and products solving problems. So let's take a closer look at what makes Pinterest stand out. Pinterest is different. It influences consumers differently than other platforms. It really does work to inspire the next action of the consumer through helping to realize need recognition and drive the purchase intent to acquire that need. So to put it all together, it creates demand, drives discovery, influences purchase through content, is a planning tool, it generates traffic to sites that are linked to those pins. All of this in addition to giving the user the ability to organize ideas and details, all saved for future reference with unlimited time visibility. And so now let's see how these features actually work on the platform. So let's look at our demo and see how it works. So we're going to begin in the Pinterest app. It can actually start as endless scrolling, but when you set up an account for the first time, it'll ask you a couple general questions about interests so it can get you started with some things that you might like that are relevant to you. And some of us are graduating soon, so we may need some updates to our home office. So here we're looking at this particular setup, and we can search the rug, the decor, the desk. It's very nice, this one, and you can click on all the items and get information about each one of them and where you can actually buy them. And you can save it and go back to it later. When you save, it'll generally go to a general location, but then once you actually develop a board, then you can actually go back and retrieve those a lot easier. This is another desk that we're looking at. It's on sale. That's great. Awesome. Let's save it. So it's going to go to a general location, like I said before, but here in a second we're going to make the actual board that it's going to be saved to. So what are we going to name our board? Let's see. How about new office? Because, you know, we're about to graduate. We might get a new, you know, work from home job. We need a really nice place to work. So look at all the ideas that this brings up just from these first couple of choices. So it really is a connected universe of ideas and things that can just send you down many rabbit holes of ideas and images and things that relate to planning and other consumer related things. Continuous discovery, basically. So what? Marketing significance of it all. Let's look at some successful examples in the wild. What works? High quality visual content works. Pinterest marketing starts with these visuals. Businesses create attractive images that inspire users and encourage them to click. Many brands also provide helpful content in education and in tutorials. Let's just close out of there. They make purchasing super easy and convenient by linking sites directly to the pins. These strategies help move consumers on their journey from inspiration to purchase. But not every business succeeds on Pinterest. Oh, I did want to note that the Home Depot one is very interesting because they have incorporated Pinterest into an actual setup in a physical store, in a brick and mortar store, to kind of promote DIY projects and all the things that you will need for those. So again, let's look at the ones that don't work. These absolutely do not work. They are very weak visually. The imagings are not inspiring or interesting. They really hold very little user value. The first mistake, obviously, like we said, using poor quality images that fail to capture users' attention and just a lame, boring product shot. It's not going to get much attention. Pins that only promote products without offering inspiration or usable information are pretty pointless. Businesses also lose visibility when they stop posting or leave their accounts inactive. Skechers, for example, which I was very surprised that their board is so awful, their official board. It only had 3 actual organized boards on it and acquired only 26 individuals that are following it. So they haven't posted, they haven't made it relevant, they haven't updated with new content, so it's going to relatively sit stagnant. Since Pinterest is built around discovery, fresh and relevant content performs much better, obviously. And Toyota is also a terrible example. If you look at these ads, they look like they were just transferred from another existing media account. They look repetitive and irrelevant. Consistency and creativity are both really important in long-term success, especially on Pinterest where most users value creativity. So even when businesses follow these best practices, Pinterest can still provide several marketing challenges. So let's look at the risks. The first risk is underestimating the amount of time and effort a marketer should spend on maintaining the account. It's not a fix-it-and-forget-it recipe by any means. It requires constant keyword optimization to appear on relevant search requests. That's where the SEO, or search engine optimization, must be made a priority and be committed to. Businesses face intense competition from millions of pins on the site. And making your brand stand out again requires creating and forethought. Algorithm changes happen all the time and can affect how often content appears in search results. Us as marketers, we also have to understand that this entire purchase journey on the platform takes time. Consumers can contemplate for weeks or months after first discovery of a product until they finalize a purchase. So patience is key. And finally, there's a huge limitation to the platform that it doesn't display or archive customer reviews or electronic word-of-mouth communication about products. There's no way to see the heuristics of products, like the 1 to 5 rating scales, unless you dig through the actual source sites and research them there. But despite these challenges, Pinterest is still a great business model and an excellent extension of social media marketing. So let's look at how they turn all this activity into revenue, to the monetization. It's free to use, but it generates billions of dollars. The company's primary source of income is advertisers. pins and extra pay for those pins to appear in higher search results and users' feeds. Merchant partnerships and business integrations make it easier for retailers to sell products. Retailers and e-commerce businesses also invest in Pinterest to drive traffic to their sites. Automated integrations like Shopify help companies sync product catalogs and ensure efficient updating. Creators and influencers contribute to the shopping ecosystem through affiliate marketing and sponsored content. Together, these groups help Pinterest maintain a very profitable business model. Certainly, they do. Those guys are super rich. What have we learned? The biggest lesson Pinterest teaches us as marketers is that Pinterest uses sparks of inspiration that often come from purchasing. As users discover ideas, they save them, compare options, and gradually move towards a decision. This means businesses should focus on creating content that is helpful, inspiring, and easy to discover. Eventually, those ideas can lead to purchases or future projects. Instead of pushing products immediately, marketers should build trust by providing value throughout the buying journey. The ads and advertising tend to be more organic and non-intrusive in nature. That's one of the biggest reasons Pinterest has become such a successful marketing platform. And as people discover more content, they save ideas, compare options, and begin planning. This highlights the importance of creating valuable content instead of simply advertising products. Businesses that educate and inspire customers often build stronger relationships over time. And finally, the customer journey enters the last phase of the purchase process, the conclusion and complete sale, the customer action. So that brings us to our conclusion. Pinterest is much more valuable than any other social media platform. It's a visual search engine that helps consumers discover ideas and products. It influences purchasing decisions by reaching users early in the consumer decision process. Businesses succeed by creating inspiring, searchable content that remains valuable over time. While the platform includes shopping features and creator partnerships, its business model is primarily driven by advertising and advertisers who pay for that. Overall, it demonstrates how marketers can influence consumers long before they make a purchase. So thanks for your time and attention. I hope that this presentation helped you to understand a little bit more about Pinterest. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.